The Bow Chat framework is going to be the best thing that you can implement into your business starting in January for your first team goal. This is like directly out of our academy. How it's going to align your team, how it's going to create energy in your business, how it's going to actually like get you to hit record revenues. The value on that is immense. I'm going to give that to you for free. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to the Geronimo Unfiltered podcast. I'm Dozer and it's Christmas Day. Now, whether you're tuning in sipping a hot chocolate, pina colada, or a mimosa, or you're at the beach having an Aussie Christmas, I want to thank you for being here. Today, I'm going to reflect on the 12 biggest lessons in 2024. We have had some amazing interviews this year, and I've been truly blessed, honestly. Like, for those of you that know me, the potty is probably my most favorite thing that I do during the week here in the world of Geronimo. That and my Tuesday call in my Unleash Business Coaching program. I sit here on Christmas Day, I'm sure just like you guys, and I reflect on, what a year it has been. This year's been a game changer for so many different studio owners. I know that's kind of a word that gets thrown around a lot, but I've seen and heard so many breakthroughs. I've had the fortunate pleasure of meeting so many of our listeners that have ended up, knocking on our front door and having a chat to us and then starting in our academy or purchasing one of, a ticket to a workshop or things like that. And I love it. I honestly love hearing from you guys. So today's episode and the New Year's Day episode, I'm going to have this as a two-parter. Today, I'm going to run through the 12 biggest lessons from 2024, and I'm going to have a special gift for you guys because it's Christmas at the end of the episode. That's part one, the 12 lessons of 2024, the biggest lessons. People growing their business. And, I've had the privilege of interviewing the fifth fittest guy on the planet, NRL level coaches, Olympians, almost Olympians, high level mindset coaches, as well as ordinary people doing extraordinary things every single day for their community and who they show up for every single day. And it's all in the name of finding the clues, the correlations between what sets high performers apart from the rest and what those lessons are that we can all take on in our everyday lives, and also how they respond to, a common thing that they all had was adversity, and how we respond to that, how they respond to that. So it kind of gives us, again, some clues and some hints and some like breadcrumbs on how, when we run our studios and when we run our businesses, on how we can show up better for our community, for our staff, for our families. So as Steve Jobs famously said, things don't really make a lot of sense, looking forward. They only make sense looking back. So that's what's going to be today's episode. I'm going to break down 12 lessons of 2024 in 20 minutes. So I'm not going to go through deep explanations of these because a lot of these point back to different episodes or different moments in other episodes in the past, but I'm just going to get straight into it. So the category one, biggest lessons of 2024 has been around mindset and resilience. Real big key theme amongst high performers and, clients in our academy who we've interviewed on our podcast. The first lesson is the struggle is the point. Most people try their hardest to avoid setbacks and adversity, but the biggest breakthroughs have come from these setbacks and opportunities for people to define themselves, redefine themselves. And the simplest tactic that we can all take into our world on how we can reframe a holy shit moment is, what if, I want you guys to write this one down, right? What if this is happening for me? What if this is happening for me? The second lesson is pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, the purpose is what's missing. A lot of times the reason why people face the burnout and they face the overwhelm and they face the kind of like almost, freeze moment in their day-to-day is often they don't know why they're doing it. So time and time again, throughout all these episodes that we've done this year, this theme of like rediscovering your why and then knowing what your why is and being in belief of that 100% of the time, or as close to 100% of the time as possible, rather than just trying to avoid pain because it becomes a tool for growth. And the bit that's missing is the purpose. The third thing is, and this is like from the back of a talk that Ash gave, Ash, our mindset coach who you've met, she gave a talk in our community around your subconscious, okay? And one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that particular talk is how much time our studio owners and most small business owners spend in fight or flight, which is a level of our subconscious where our stress is high and we're in effectively like high task churn mode. What happens when we're in that mode is your intelligence reduces. We can't make our best decisions in those moments. It's hard to create when we're in fight or flight all the time versus high performance balance, that sort of charging towards a goal and just knocking things off to-do lists with strategies to avoid the burnout and strategies to get into a deeper level of the subconscious, which is where we can sort of tap into abundance. And when we speak to like Vic from Muscle Republic, when we speak to the legends that we interviewed when we were in the Bali Active Escape, so a lot of it was down to how to avoid burnout, not just trying to do more in the day. So there are 3 big lessons around that mindset and resilience that I encourage you to kind of reflect on as well. The second category is systems and execution. The first one is you can't grow with chaos. I've never seen it. I've never seen a studio owner or a high-level business owner be able to grow past their level of chaos. So our best studio owners that have created immense breakthroughs in their business, I think of like Louis and Sarah, who first came to us 5-6 months ago doing $3,000 a week with 100 members. And that's after 8 years of pushing this business uphill. Like, they weren't bludgers. They have been working for 8 frigging years. Been with us for 5 months, 5-6 months, and now they've just hit an $84,000 rolling 30-day average, which is $1 million run rate effectively in 5-6 months. What was the difference? Like, again, they weren't bludging beforehand. They didn't all of a sudden become like more caring for their community. That was all there at the start. What was different was traction. So traction in the sort of realm of you can't grow with chaos is using tools like Separation Sunday that I've talked about and our 30-60-90 planning frameworks that I might dive into a little bit more on New Year's Day to actually turn their vision into a reality. Otherwise, vision without traction is just hallucination. So they started by like starting to put systems in place to eradicate that chaos one by one in a very methodical 30 days, 60 days, 90 days framework that we do in our academy. And that basically turned 8 years of stagnation into breakthroughs in 5 or 6 months. So you can't grow past chaos. The second thing is you're the reason your business stalls. And I say that with love, and it's more a reflection just as I'm sitting here writing kind of a journal. The design of our business and the success of our business, or how complicated our business feels, or how smooth our business feels, how fast it grows, it's because we've designed it that way. Now, that could also be intentionally or by default because we didn't design it in any better way, if that makes sense. So all the time I'm doing, VIP half days with owners that are already doing $1 million plus. And the common thing that I find is that they've got level 3 revenue, but level 1 problems. And that's because, they've kind of designed a business or a machine that really relies on them. They hate it, but that is the way that they've designed it, rightly or wrongly, and whether they realized it or not. So success depends on the leader's ability to solve problems and build systems, not become the bottleneck. So what we've got to do as owners, is we've got to take responsibilities, we've got to adapt, and we've got to execute. So we're the reason our business stalls. It's the way we've designed, whether it's intentionally or unintentionally, it's the way we've designed our business. The third piece amongst systems and execution is standards make the difference. What we've seen all the time, and it's a real big thing that we talk about in our communities around standards. I hold my studios in my academy to a standard. Actually, it starts earlier. And Ben holds me to a standard. I hold him to a standard. We hold each other to a standard, which allows us to hold our teams to a standard. And then we outwardly can hold our clients to a standard that we believe in. And then what's been awesome is that they've been able to hold their teams to a standard and the people in their world to a standard as well. One thing I want you to remember is this: average performers meet standards. Good performers exceed standards. The great performers, the high performers, set the standard. So I'm going to encourage you to set standards out there in life, starting with yourself and starting with keeping promises to yourself. That's why we have non-negotiables and things like that. So that kind of wraps up the systems and execution category. We've had lessons in mindset and resilience. We've had lessons in systems and execution, the second category. And this is like all dripping through like the chats with the athletes that we've had, the chats with Muscle Republic, the chats with Kylie Ryan that we've had mindset stuff, and our owners who have had those breakthroughs. Now, the third category that we dived a lot into with Rowan as well as Ash is leadership and team performance or building. The first one has been repeated across a lot of the episodes, and a lot of things that I've seen this year is the difference between just managing your team and leading your team. Great leaders inspire ownership of KPIs and people in their team, owning their KPIs, because the leader has firstly created a vision big enough that everyone can see themselves in that vision. So it's not about managing people to tasks. It's about inspiring a better future and leading by example, driving momentum, not micromanaging. That was a big lesson this year. The second thing is the best leaders are made, not born. I really am pleased every time I see a recovering people pleaser in our academy become a really, really strong, formidable leader and almost unlearn a lot of the patterns and the behaviors that has led them to almost be surrounded by a team that has more power than they are producing as output or performance. And the sort of leader in these businesses hasn't always had the knowledge and the talk track to be or the playbooks to be able to hold, her team or his team to high standards and produce outsized returns. And ultimately, that comes down to people are working so hard on their leadership right now in our academy, particularly the level 3 top owners, where leadership becomes the biggest constraint because now you've got a lot of people problems. It's a pattern that we see time and time again, all through the same week. Leadership is a force multiplier that you've got to work on every single day. And Rowan his episodes this year has been testament to that. Reminds us that growth in the leadership path as a muscle is never ending. The third thing is the difference between like the high performers and everyone else. Is their ability to celebrate wins along the way, but also bring their team along the journey as well. That recognition, like we have seen massive improvements in people's team morales and momentum, like breaking records. 83 at the time of recording this right now, 83% of our academy is at record revenue all time. And before you go, it's probably past COVID. No, since before COVID as well. Now, one of the tactics that has really helped these guys like propel their results and bringing their team along and their team becoming a lot more aligned is something we call the boat chat framework. Now, the boat chat framework is something that I'm very proud of. We did ages ago back at our very first studio, and now we've taught our academy how to do this, and we've renamed all their Slack channels with the boat channel with like however many sales to go, and they've done kickoffs with their team, and it has been, nothing makes me happier than like checking people's Slack channels and seeing how close they are to hitting their boat chat. And then boom, as soon as they hit it. And now I start getting photos back from, the team events or the reward that they put on the other side of hitting their boat chat. So you're going to be thinking, what the fuck is a boat chat, Bose? It's Christmas. Like, explain things for us. Okay, I'm going to do better than that. This is my gift to you because I love you guys so much. The boat chat framework is going to be the best thing that you can implement into your business, starting in January for your first team goal. So what I want you to do is go to Instagram, hey.dozer, find me, follow me, and message me the word boat chat, and I'll send you the playbook. Okay, this is like directly out of our academy. This is worth like how it's going to align your team, how it's going to create energy in your business, how it's going to actually like get you to hit record revenues. So you feel like you've actually you're the conductor of this orchestra that's moving in the same direction. Like the value on that is immense. I'm going to give that to you for free for podcast listeners. They go to my Instagram, hey.dozer, and just message me the words boat chat. That's how I know that you've listened to this. And I will make sure that you get the playbook. My team will send that to you. Okay. So that's leadership in team building. Don't just manage lead. Be a transformational leader, not a micromanager. The best leaders are made, not born, and they friggin' work on it every single day. And then boat chat around bringing your team in to celebrate the wins together. There's nothing better than that feeling. The fourth category is in sales and marketing. Now, what was interesting this year was seeing, I'm obviously wearing a fuck free trial shirt right now, if you guys can see me on YouTube. We've seen this kind of shift. Well, I've been talking enough about this, enough people listened. So we moved away from generic marketing to avatar-based marketing. So that worked, right? That had a step change. Then, like with anything, what kills marketing is other marketers. Eventually, that started to fatigue as well, because you know why? You guys were bloody using generic avatars. So you went from generic to avatars, and then the avatars just became generic avatars. So that didn't work anymore. That started to fade. The change that we saw was then moving into deep avatars and understanding what I've been talking about, which is the 7-11-4 principle that has been publicized when Google analyzed billions of points of data and released the 0 Moments of Truth report, which basically showed that because we're in a 40-year low of a trust recession right now, consumers need 7 hours of content across 11 touch points or impressions on 4 different channels to basically take them from cold to sold. So, we partner this up with making sure that we're using specific deep avatars. That is what is completely opening up lead flow of high quality leads for the people in our academy right now and the people that we do custom installs for with our sale a day system. So that also, the other lesson is this organic and paid. This is a massive lesson, right? The people who still think organic leads and paid leads have come from these two separate mythical parts of the world. If that's you, you're living in the year 2021, 22, right now in 2024, 2025, building a trust funnel, building a funnel that actively and systematically develops trust in that 7-Eleven 4. It's taken studios who were basically in drought to now they're in flood. And that comes a whole different set of problems because ultimately, like, they weren't ready for all of it. So it brings the next problem, which is sales, which is my second point here as a lesson this year. The lesson here is you don't need to suck at sales. Okay. So we're sitting here Christmas Day 24. You're sitting here reviewing yourself or reviewing your business. I want you to know that selling is absolutely a skill that can be mastered. Every single week we do custom workshops for different HQs and for different kind of groups of studios. And we take people that are kind of afraid of the phone to hitting 40 to 50% conversion rates on high quality, high priced, paid intro offers. This is great news, team. And it's a lesson that keeps repeating itself. You don't need to suck at sales. But if you're not converting 40 to 50% of paid intros, there is untapped potential waiting for you in 2025 that I'm excited for you if you choose to do something with it. And the third thing is people still in 2024 don't spend enough time on marketing. They either don't spend enough time learning about it. They don't spend enough time working on creative refresh. They don't spend enough time doing their ad reviews every single day. It's not something you can just outsource to a third party doing it for, a few $100s a month. Like, until you get to a certain level again, the answer isn't just outsourcing the growth of your business. The biggest lesson here is people that have taken this upon themselves to really learn about this and develop their skills around this are doing so much better. And they're also not in the panic cycles all through the week, which is why, and I haven't been able to say this in all, across all the years, but the group of owners that we have in our academy right now, I genuinely love. Like, at time of recording, we're about to go into the Gold Coast and do this massive retreat with 30 to 40 studio owners that are flying in to be together for 2 nights. And I genuinely can't wait to see these guys because these guys are all implementing. They're learning. They're not in panic cycles, in panic states. They've got control. They've empowered themselves and they are much better as leaders. Like, to see them grow so much as people and then as owners and then to grow their business and their team has purely been because they've taken ownership and control back into their business. So they're the 4 categories, team. We've got the mindset and resilience. There's some massive learnings around that. We've had 3 learnings around systems and execution. We've had 3 big learnings around leadership and team building. We've had 3 big learnings around sales and marketing in 2024. Now, the bonus lesson that I've had kind of late 2024, which kind of tips into 2025, is one big trend to watch, and that is around holistic wellness is the future. I have the privilege of meeting every single week more and more studios that, to be frank, I didn't even know they existed out there. These are big boutique studios that have got multifaceted approaches to them, but they all center around like holistic health, wellness, and different modalities that support that. I mean, we're living in an age where Equinox have just sold, they're selling $40,000 a year memberships. They're optimized memberships, and it's about longevity. The studios that are embracing wellness, recovery, multifaceted, what I've seen is that they're 2 to 5x more successful in terms of revenue generating capacity than those relying solely on just running like busy single modality classes. Now, it reminds me of a quote that said, the size of your market's going to determine how much money you can make, but your business model is going to determine how hard you have to work for it. This is a massive lesson that's come through this year. So the studios, when, in the same square footage, mixed modality, multifaceted, with a sort of pyramid level membership type offer versus just big classes of, single modality or the same type of stuff, that's quite a thirsty model. For the same level of input, it seems like the mixed modality, different price points, and a sort of a wedding cake layer can generate 2 to 5 times return on the same effort from the owner. So that's just a bonus trend / lesson for you to consider as we sit here on Christmas Day. So reflecting on 2024 is something I love doing. It is powerful. But next week, I want to turn those reflections into a game plan for you guys, a tactical game plan to turn these lessons into effectively your best year yet in 2025. But all that being said, get back to your family. I'm going to get back to mine. Merry Christmas, guys. I absolutely love you. It's been awesome having you here with me this year, and I'll see you in 2025. Peace out. Bye.